This may sound cliche, as every singer says this, but I've truly been singing since I could speak. I remember making up songs about going to the grocery store when I was in elementary school in West Islip, New York, which is where I'm from. I joined chorus in 4th grade, as that's the earliest age that you can join, and this song, Oh Me Oh My, I Lost My Homework, was one of the first songs that I remember ever singing, and I still remember all of the words, even though that was 2004. Once I got to middle school, I was introduced to the first influential music teacher that I ever had, and his name is Mr. Eidenbach. And just to stray off topic for a moment, this solo happening underneath us right now is actually me singing a solo in 2007 in something called All District, which was all of the middle schools in my district got together and sang a song together, and this was us singing. Mr. Eidenbach had a huge impact on me as a young middle schooler because he really believed in me and he knew what potential I had before I even knew I had it. I remember in our 7th grade year, we did a variety show for our school musical, and I was in the Fiddler on the Roof portion, and I was one of the sisters. And I remember being so afraid to show any emotion on stage because I was so shy and I was so in myself, and Mr. Eidenbach worked so hard with me to just open up and let people see the real me, but I was so afraid. Which must have gotten through to me somehow, because in my 8th grade year we did Cinderella and I was the stepsister, and I was crazy on stage, and I really credit that to Mr. Eidenbach never giving up on me, and I honestly credit him to a big part of my personality today, as if any of you know me, I've never been a shy person around any of you, but when I was in middle school, that's a different story completely. When I got to high school, I was introduced to Dr. Fiore, who was affectionately named Doc by all of his students, and he was the second influential music teacher of my life. I chose the song Ride on King Jesus by Moses Hogan because I was able to sing the solo in this song in Carnegie Hall with Doc, and that was a really special memory of mine from high school. Although the pulling out of the shell started with Mr. Eidenbach, it definitely finished with Doc. I know that I'll never be the same person that I was before I knew him. He made me confident in myself, confident in my musical ability, and confident in my future, as I wanted to be a music teacher so that I could be somebody's Doc for them. I remember that he didn't mind when we hung out in his office, and he made a really safe space for the music kids who didn't really have other places to go. So many of my favorite musical memories were possible because of Doc, such as singing in Disney World and performing at Carnegie Hall. The next picture on this slideshow is actually taken in Disney on one of our trips where we performed, and you can see he has his hand over my face and he's covering the sun and making a joke, and that was just totally Doc. He was just a jokester, and that's how he lived. I chose The Lord Bless You and Keep You by John Rutter because that was one of Doc's favorite pieces that we ever sang, and unfortunately, when I was in 11th grade, Doc passed away, and we sang this for him at his funeral. So, The Lord Bless You and Keep You means a lot to me, more than just Westminster or anything, because it reminds me of Doc and of my great times that we had together. And so I moved on to college, as one does after they graduate high school, and I went to Suffolk County Community College in Suffolk County, New York. And this is where I met my next influential music educator of my life, and her name is Dr. Alice Kavanaugh, Cav for short. When I got to college, I was pretty unsure of what I wanted to do with music. All I knew is that I loved music and I needed to do something with it. However, the lack of knowing exactly what I wanted to do with my degree caused me to not care as much, and I ended up getting a D in theory my first year, which meant that I wasn't able to move on to the next level of theory. This prompted in me an entire rethinking of what I thought I wanted to do with my life, because I figured if I couldn't do theory, then why even bother being a music major at all? So I decided to drop out of school and work. So the only thing I did with my time was work and choir, because I never dropped out of choir even though I dropped out of school. And that kept on for about 2 years until one day I realized that the only thing that was giving me any joy was when I went to choir. And I remember one day I was driving down the block with my mom, and I looked at her and I said, "Mom, I think I want to be a music teacher." And she said, "Wow, I'm glad that you finally figured it out. I've been telling you this for years." So that fall, I re-enrolled at Suffolk as a music major. And that point in my life was pretty great because I had finally gotten back on track with school and figured out what I wanted to do. So I was pretty happy at this point. I was learning so much from all of my teachers, but especially Cav, about choral music and about conducting, and I loved watching her conduct because I always learned something new and different from her every day. Cav did this thing every semester where she would choose one student to student conduct the choir in the spring concert. And to my delight, she chose me. Now, this was really exciting for me as I obviously never had the opportunity to teach a song to a choir or conduct them in a concert, so this was a huge, crazy opportunity for me that I could never thank her enough for. And together we chose to do the song The Last Words of David by Randall Thompson, which meant a lot to me because the last time that I ever sang that piece was with Doc, and I found it a really nice tribute to him that the last time I sang it was with him, and now I'm conducting it. It's like I came 360. So it worked like I had a little time slot with the choir every other choir rehearsal, and I would teach a little bit more of the piece the way that I wanted to teach it, and it was totally me taking the reins and figuring out how to get the sound that I wanted out of the choir. And that was such a fun, different thing that I never experienced before, and it totally cemented my want to be a music educator. One day, Cav called me into her office to have a meeting about where I was thinking about going to get my bachelor's in music education. I told her that I wasn't really sure and I had a couple of ideas, but I wasn't really cemented on anything yet. And she told me that she thought I should look into Westminster Choir College in Princeton, New Jersey. So I decided to look into the school, and I scheduled a visit to come look around, and I ended up completely falling in love with this place the first second that I set foot on the campus. And I remember when I left, I cried because I thought that I had botched my audition and I thought that I wasn't going to get in. And to me, that was the total end of the world because in my head, I'd found the place where I was meant to spend the next couple of years to get my degree. So the time finally came, and even though it took me a little while longer than some other people, I graduated with my associate's degree in music from Suffolk County Community College, and I became the first person in my family to receive a college degree. And obviously, despite my tears and doubt, I ended up getting into Westminster, and I came here, and it's been a crazy whirlwind experience since I started my first semester. The experiences that I've had since I've gotten here and the people that I've met have already impacted me so heavily, and it's only been a couple of months. I can't wait to see what other crazy opportunities this school is going to bring me. I feel like I've found my home here. I feel like I've found people who respect me and understand exactly how I feel about music and about life. But I can't end this video without talking about somebody who made everything that I've ever done possible, and that's my mom. She never stopped until she knew I had exactly what I needed, and I would not be where I am today without her, and I would not be the person I am today without her. And the only thing I can do is say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I wouldn't be half the person I am today without you. I wanted to leave off of this video with a message to people who may think that it's too late to start something or too late to do something that you love with your life. And I hope that I could be a beacon of hope for someone who may be afraid to follow their dreams. Because even though it may seem scary to follow your dreams, it's even scarier to think of a life where you're not doing something that you love the whole time. So go out there and try something that you've always been afraid of. And thank you for watching.